Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism and narcissistic relationships. Just, it's an interesting month for me because, if you see this video the day it comes out, is in my healing program in September 2020, nope, in my healing program, October 2022, we're focusing on the topic of forgiveness. And it's such a complex topic that I've spent a lot of this month thinking about it. And just as an aside, those of you who actually want to do a much deeper dive on forgiveness, no matter when you sign up for the healing platform, you have access to some of that content. So please check out the link in the video notes. But this idea of forgiveness in narcissistic relationships is such a complicated issue. And like I said, this month I've been thinking about it a lot. So today I'm going to take on in this video this idea of avoiding pseudo-forgiveness. So, this is an interesting kind of a tricky topic, this idea of sort of pseudo forgiveness, and ideally avoiding it. Forgiveness is already a complex topic in and of itself, but understanding forgiveness within the context of narcissistic relationships is a mess. The challenge is that we want forgiveness to be simple. I forgive you, and good people forgive, and now things will be better, and I feel better about myself because I forgave them. So what happens when you forgive a person and they hurt you again and again and again? And you keep forgiving, maybe because it feels like it's the right thing to do, maybe it feels virtuous, maybe you feel pressure to do it. Maybe it's part of the religious teachings you heard or grown up with or believe. From a straight-up dictionary perspective, forgiveness is defined as to cease to feel resentment towards an offender. To cease to feel resentment. So by that definition, it means every time you forgive, you're supposed to cease to feel resentment. Do you? Do you cease to feel resentment every time you forgive? Your partner cheats, you forgive. They end up leaving you and getting engaged to their cheating person. Do you stop resenting them, even though you forgave them? Your business partner makes a mess of the books, and you lose a big part of your life's work and the investment you made after they lied to you and gaslighted you. Let's say you forgive them. Do you really stop resenting them? You keep forgiving a narcissistic partner. They gaslight, they manipulate, they run hot, they run cold, they run up, they run down, but you keep forgiving. You are left with a sense of anxiety, not being enough, and rumination. Do you stop resenting them? You stepped up and cared for your narcissistic parent for years. You endured their abuse, and as they get their financial affairs in order, despite you losing some earning potential from caring for them, they still give a bunch of money to the golden child sibling who has never helped and doesn't really need the money. And that money could have been used to get a carer or a cleaner into the house to lighten your caregiving burden. Do you really stop resenting? Listen. Who am I to? I don't know. Maybe you did stop resenting, which means that you're a lot more flexible and nice than I am. But I think that many, if not most of us, don't stop resenting, especially when we're chronically put through the sort of same kinds of wrongdoing. We may let it go. We may move on. We may grieve the marriage. We may get back on our feet professionally or downsize our lives. We may just shrug and feel that our duty was to care for the parent and we were never doing it for the money. But you may still resent it. Even though you forgave, you may still resent. Is that forgiveness? Forgiveness is so virtuous that we look warmly on people who do it. But I get to have the deep, dark conversations with people who say, yeah, I told them or I told the world I forgave them. And it feels good to have the world tell me, you really are the bigger person here. But then they'll tell me, in the privacy of our conversation, they'll say, I have to own it. I don't really forgive this person. To which my response is typically, then maybe you need to stop telling the world that you do forgive them. Because it creates an incongruence and a tension within us, a discomfort in us when we claim to forgive someone, but we really don't. The pressure to forgive by the world is so high The validation we get is often so admiring that it pushes folks into this pseudo-forgiveness. It's not good. It's like lying to ourselves and having to experience the inconsistency of the world believing we forgave, the narcissistic person believing that we forgave them, but in our hearts knowing that we really didn't. This can doubly sting if the narcissistic person behaves badly again, because then we are left holding the bag of having publicly forgiven, not internally forgiven, feel betrayed again, but honestly, sometimes that second or third or fourth time they hurt us or betray us can be a place where you might say, oh, hell no, I don't forgive you again. If I can only give you one recommendation in these relationships, don't pseudo-forgive. It's not good for you. I understand the pressure to forgive. I do. But on top of all of the cognitive dissonance you've been living with for so long, the pseudo-forgiveness takes a toll. The hard work of survivorship from these relationships is to not succumb to the pressure to forgive. Do it, don't do it, that's up to you, but get yourself sorted first. Feel whole first. Forgiving isn't necessary for that process within you. Narcissistic forgiveness is different than healthy forgiveness. In narcissistic forgiveness, you may end up enabling them. It can leave you stuck in a trauma-bonded cycle and you keep enduring their hurtful behavior. Healthy forgiveness results in change and growth. But keep it real. Being in narcissistic relationships often means lying to ourselves all the time. Don't let forgiveness be another place that happens. And if you really want, again, this month happened to be forgiveness in my healing program, but whether now or the months to come, you want to do that deeper dive, go ahead. Click on the link in the video notes. You want to look into my healing program where we take on some of these really thorny issues like forgiveness. Thanks again.